Welcome to Daily Planning for Fruitful Living, bringing the hope of Jesus to the world around us, one fruit at a time. Hi, I'm Leann, and I'm your host today. And today we're talking about love. What does it mean when we say, I love you? The other night I was searching for a movie, and I decided to type in the word love and see what would come up. Keep in mind, this is on Amazon Prime, and no, we have no additional subscriptions. So the movies that came up were The Love Punch, Valentine's Day, Eat, Pray, Love, Love Happens, Love and Other Drugs, Love Actually, Love Reconsidered, Love, Weddings and Other Disasters. Wow. I started wondering, so much searching, losing, love, finding love, discovering love, disasters. Does anyone even know what love is anymore? We have dating sites, we have rewritten marriage vows. It just makes me wonder. As followers of Christ, we know what love is because Jesus gave his life for us. His sacrifice for us while we were still sinners and are still sinners is the ultimate expression and demonstration of true love. In 1 John 4:16, I love, it says, so we know the love that God has for us and we trust that love. God is love. Everyone who lives in love lives in God, and God lives in them. We experience and share God's love by loving others in the same way he loves us, by giving of ourselves, sacrificing for the benefit of one another. This is true love. God is love. But what is love without God? I remember when Greg and I were dating. It was a long time ago, but I still remember. I remember it like it was yesterday. Our relationship was growing and emotions were becoming deeper. We were spending more time together and we were ready to make a stronger commitment, or so I thought. Thoughts of love were entering in. But as much as I wanted to share how I was feeling, and I wanted to hear those words, the 3 words we all long to say and to hear, I was not about to say them until he said them first. And so I waited. I waited and waited, but then it finally happened. It was a summer evening. We were standing outside on the front porch when Greg looked me in the eye and said, I love you. But before I could process what I heard, what was happening, all the emotions that were swirling around in my head when he said, I love you, there were 3 more words. Words I was not prepared for. 3 words that caught me totally off guard. 3 words I would never forget. He said, I love you, whatever that means. Yep, you heard right. It was an honest admission on Greg's part. He was not entirely sure of what he meant when he said, I love you. So he quickly filed a little contingency, whatever that means. When I asked him later, or actually recently, I said, what did you mean by that? And he's like, I don't really know what I meant. I just knew I didn't know what all love meant, but I knew what I was experiencing was not like anything I had experienced before. He's not alone. Without God, it's impossible to know what true love means. It's like trying to make a loaf of bread without yeast. It just doesn't work. The dough falls flat. If you go without yeast long enough, you adapt to flat bread. You learn to accept it. You may even start to like it, or at least tell yourself you like it. Maybe you try to improve it by adding some butter or jelly. But you will never have a beautiful loaf of bread without yeast. You will have to learn to be content with what you have. Many people have settled for love they can create without God. Love as a feeling of affection. Think about it. We no longer even ask the question, what is love? Truth is, we're not looking for a definition. We're not looking for instruction. We say, what does love mean to you? Love has become whatever we create and decide it to be. Yes, we think of it as an intense feeling or emotion. Then we add what that emotion looks like based on our experiences and what we desire or what makes us feel good. But love without God will never be complete or satisfying. It will always fall short, disappoint, and end. It's impossible to have love without God because God is love. Whatever that means wasn't meant by Greg to reduce or minimize how he felt for me. It was an honest admission to his lack of understanding of what all love was or could be. He had pieces based on his experience, but recognized the word love meant much more, expressed than he could even imagine. When I heard those three words, whatever that means, although they were quite surprising, I thought, I love you too. And together, we're going to find out whatever that means. It's been a journey. We've been together for 43 years since we discovered God is love and put him in the center of our relationship with each other, with our kids, family, community, wherever we go. We no longer use those three words, whatever that means. Now we say all that that means. God's love is so much bigger than what we can imagine. We don't always get it right, I can tell you that. But we know God is love, and we live by his love, laying down our lives for one another. In 1 John 4:16, it says, we know that the love God has for us, and we trust that love. God is love. Everyone who lives in love lives in God, and God lives in them. Don't settle for a love you can create on your own. Go for God's love. It's true love that will last. This week, catch yourself whenever you start to say, I love you, casually, as you're greeting someone, saying goodbye, out of habit, and think about all that it means. Say it again, only this time, say it like you mean it, and like you mean it to be the love God intended for all of us and for one another. Have a great week.